I am 32, married to my husband, 35. And I have a younger sister who's now 29. My sister got pregnant when she was 18, it was an accidental pregnancy and she wanted to terminate it but instead chose to keep it and give it away for adoption. Before she gave birth I considered adopting the kid and made sure my sister would be okay with it and she was extremely happy. She gave birth and we did all the legal paperwork to adopt the kid. The kid would still meet my sister but as her aunt. It is a girl. The kid is now turning 11 and all those years we've never had issues with our family dynamic. My sister also expressed that she's not fit to be a mom and has been open about staying child-free. She's been a great aunt to my daughter and we all had a healthy family relationship. I also found out 6 months ago that I'm pregnant with my own biological kid. I always wanted to be a mom, that's why I adopted my daughter and now I'm also pregnant. My husband and I are more than excited that our family is growing and we'll be able to give our daughter a sibling. Since I got pregnant my sister's stance has changed. She tries to spend more time with my daughter and also introduced her new boyfriend to my daughter, which is something she's not done with any other boyfriend of hers. She's been dating that guy for less than a year. I don't want to get into much details, so straight to the point. My sister claims that now that I'm expecting my own biological kid she wants her daughter back. I was shocked to say the least and I told her that's not gonna happen. The kid is legally adopted by me and my husband and she's grown up with me as her mother. She claims I stole her kid by taking advantage of her young age when she got pregnant and I reminded her that giving up the kid for adoption was her own choice. She wants the kid back and demands to act like a mother. She's also told the truth to her boyfriend and claims we manipulated her into giving up the kid, which was not the case at all. Her boyfriend is willing to help her in legal battles to get the kid back. She's also threatened to tell the kid the truth unless we do as she says. Legally there's nothing she can do, but I don't want my kid to be traumatized by revealing the truth, especially that way. My husband and I threatened a restraining order. My parents basically called me the idiot for threatening a restraining order against my own sister and said I should sit down and listen to what she has to say because she's my sister after all. My husband and I are not willing to back down as protecting our kid and family is our first priority. My parents say my sister should have equal rights to her kid like we have and we should compromise. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're that child's mother in every respect other than biologically. Your sister and your parents are way out of line. You need to tell your daughter the truth. Do it in your own way and do it as soon as possible. Your daughter deserves to know, but aside from that, it will be far less upsetting coming from you, her parents, than if your sister blurts it. It also takes away that threat from your sister. Sadly, if your sister doesn't back off, you might need to ban her from contacting your family until she settles down. Tell your kid the truth now, you have lied too long to her. Do it before your sister does it. And go completely no contact with your sister, this is sadly necessary. And talk to a lawyer, do not only threaten her with a restraining order, but make sure your child is protected from her. My parents say my sister should have equal rights to her kid like we have, and we should compromise. Maybe you need to go no contact with your parents too. They are delusional. There can be no compromise about your kid. She is a person, not a toy. Talk to a lawyer. Everyone's the idiot here. Your child is 11 and you've never told them they are adopted. That is going to blow up in your face. Find a way to tell them before they find out. But as far as the thing you actually asked about your sister is also way out of line. This is your child, and the fact that she has regrets doesn't change anything. That said, you can try a restraining order, but not sure you will be able to get one if your whole complaint is she's gonna tell my daughter the truth about her parentage. That's not what restraining orders are for. My mom was married to Dave when I was a kid and had my brother and sister with him. They divorced soon after my sister was born. Dave was in no way my father and I did not see or speak to him after that really. Then mom died and to have a relationship with my siblings, we had to communicate about them. At first he tried to say I wouldn't be allowed to see them, but after lawyers got involved and he was told I could file under familial rights to see them, basically I was a big part of their lives, and like grandparents' rights, I could prove our relationship was important for them. I started getting to see them once a month as a compromise. That did increase because they bugged him to see me more. After he got married things became a crap show. His wife has kids, and he has kids with her. And he expects me to treat them like my family too, and threatened to stop my access to my siblings if I didn't. I told him they were not my responsibility and I would still take him to court if I have to. Last month when I picked my siblings up, he had all the kids at the door waiting for me. He told them to say hi to their sister and that I'd be taking them somewhere fun. I reminded him I was there for my brother and sister, not for everyone. Kids were upset. After I took my siblings, he texted me that I was an idiot for hurting kids. Then a week later he told me I need to start acting like a member of the family before I hurt everyone. I told him I am not part of his family, I am part of my siblings' family, and I don't owe them crap, so stop expecting it from me. I reminded him that he was not part of my life outside of being the father of my siblings, and that made his family even less mine. My siblings told me yesterday he's still really mad about it and he was pressuring them to pressure me to take the other kids. They said they hate that he wants to take away our time together. Am I the idiot? You're sitting on a petty gold mine though. Sure Dave, I'll take all the kids, my babysitting fee is $15 per hour per kid that I'm not related to. I require full payment up front. That was a low move having them all ready. He hoped that it would guilt you into taking them all. No. Good on you for sticking to your guns on this. Your time with your siblings is important for you and them, and considering they are being pressured by Dave to include the others isn't fair on them or you. Speaking to a lawyer again just for advice might be a good idea after that stunt he pulled already. This Dave guy is a piece of work, he just wants to dump all the responsibilities to you so you can take care of the kids and babysit them for him. Make it clear to both your siblings that you are only part of their family and have no responsibility toward the other kids, just in case that Dave guy tries to guilt trip them or try to sabotage the relationship you guys have, but your siblings seem to understand what is happening, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Thank you for being such a good sibling, even when this jerk makes it hard. Remember that in saying no to his manipulation, you are showing your siblings how to be assertive and set boundaries, and that is so healthy for them to learn. Make screenshots and backup copies of his messages and get legal help if you can. You might also want to think about what you can do to help your siblings if living with this idiot becomes too stressful. Have a think about what you can and can't do for them so you know what you will say if they ask to move in with you or need help to leave. A bit of context, this happened in the UK, London. I booked a ticket for Sunday evening to go back to my apartment, Northampton. Due to an accident on the tracks, a lot of trains have been delayed or suspended indefinitely. I found this out at the station. A couple of hours before I was about to start making my way home, my ticket to go home was cancelled, refunded and given the option to buy a new one, which I did. It came with a seat, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. When I got to the station it was packed to say the least. Trains were getting cancelled and delayed left and right. My train got delayed multiple times, but luckily it arrived. Since the train station was so packed, it was a rush to get in. The train made harder with my mini suitcase I was pulling along. I was scanning my ticket and remembered it came with my designated seat. I relaxed a bit, knowing that at least it was secure. The trouble was when I got to my seat someone was sitting in there. I politely informed the woman that the seat she was sitting on was reserved for me and I have the ticket to prove it. She looked at me and said, "Sorry, I was here first, you can find another seat." I said, "I get that, but I paid for that seat and I should be able to sit in the seat I bought. If it was the other way around I'd get up because it's the right thing to do." We went back and forth about it, with her refusing to budge on the matter and me getting more and more annoying. I was annoyed and lost all my patience and simply said, "Look, we all paid for a ticket, but mine came with that seat and I'd like to sit there as I paid for it, so get up." At this point you could hear the anger in my voice, and people started to notice and take sides. Some thought I was in the wrong and should screw up. Some said it's my seat as stated on the ticket, so she should get up. One person heard the commotion from another carriage and came to shame me for bullying her and refused to listen when someone was trying to explain. She said I should be ashamed that someone like you shouldn't harass an innocent lady like her. To clarify, I'm a 6'3" black guy with a voice deep enough to make Darth Vader jealous, so I could have been a misunderstanding. After 10 minutes and another delay, the train was at the platform the whole time. She reluctantly got up and sat next to someone else. I apologize for the disturbance. I put my suitcase up in the overhead luggage storage, sat down and put in my AirPods, and calmed down with some music. She got up at the stop before me, Wolverton, and gave me a dirty look through the window. In hindsight, it was a chaotic situation to say the least, but I still believe I was in the right, but I also think that I could have just let the situation go or handled it better, so I come here for an unbiased opinion from strangers of the internet. So, am I the idiot for being a Karen and demanding my seat? Not the idiot. I am a wheelchair user, and as there are very few wheelchair spaces, if one isn't available I always reserve a seat. Usually one with extra room, for my crutches, close to the door. There's almost always someone sitting in it. They have often watched me fold and stow my wheelchair, and you bet I make a fuss until they damn well move. It was your seat for you to sit in. It was a reserved seat you bought. What I find interesting is that it was in the United Kingdom, which is generally more orderly and rules orientated, but maybe it was because of the train issues. Unfortunately, the Karen meme has jumped the shark, where it was originally a person in the wrong who uses bullying tactics and appeals to the management to get something that they feels wrongly entitled to now has taken on the meaning of anyone standing up for themselves when the other person is actually acting wrongly entitled. They were in fact not entitled to sit in your assigned seat, thought by reverse bullying you would embarrass you enough to let it slide. So you have now provided a perfect example where you were in the right, you paid for a seat and were perfectly reasonable, and the other person felt wrongly entitled because she was there first. You're not a Karen. That's not Karen behavior. You booked a seat, you have every right to sit in that seat. What's the point in booking a seat if you don't actually get it and you have to accept some random stranger sitting in it? I sympathize with you being a big bloke, so it's hard to have a dispute with someone without appearing at least a little intimidating. You're not a Karen though, and not the idiot. I've been working at the same job for about 5 years. It was my first job after graduation and I really liked the place. The environment was good and my colleagues were all really nice. The company is a family-run business and the top positions are all filled by people related to the family. About 2 years ago, one family member was placed as my manager. Before that, I was reporting directly to the head of the company and giving them advice. I have to admit that I had my eye on the management position, so I was a bit bitter. But the thing is, this guy had no experience and could not even answer the simplest questions. His role was to basically approve the quotations I submitted or take my feedback and relay it. I continued doing my job, but as time passed I felt more restless because I didn't feel like I was getting the credit I deserved. I went to speak with the head who I had a pretty good relationship with. He said he understood my position and they really relied on me so they would do something about it. From there, I was promoted to a manager with a pay increment. The pay was below what I asked for, but I accepted because he said their budget was pretty tight now. A while later, a company-wide email was sent out saying my boss was promoted to director. I then found out he was given a pay increment as well to match his position. It was pretty much the last straw for me after they told me the budget was tight, so I applied for a few positions and got one with a comparable pay but seemed better for my career growth. I submitted my resignation letter to the director, but the head called me in and said he was disappointed with me. He said I shouldn't have asked for a promotion if I was gonna leave, and I was making use of them, and now they have to find someone and train them. I felt pretty bad leaving them in this situation and kinda ruining my relationship with them. Am I the idiot for leaving a job right after being promoted? Should I have at least stayed for a year or two to work in my new position? Not the idiot. You wanted a promotion to reflect your level of responsibility. Giving the guy a promotion to director when it sounds like he's doing nothing sounds like a slap in the face. If they had told you that he would have been promoted, would you have been as accepting? Furthermore, it seems like the company did have the budget seeing that they gave the guy a pay rise as well. And by the way, the pay jump from manager to director is pretty big. This is pretty much what companies and employees do, make use of each other. The employees for income, the employers for work. You saw someone promoted above you purely based on nepotism. Then, when they threw you a bone, a nice gesture, but it sounds like a well-earned and pastime one, they also made sure Sonny Boy didn't get his nose out of joint by promoting him more and giving him more money. Usually, you'd be a bit of an idiot for leaving this soon after a promotion. In these circumstances, I really don't blame you. Not the idiot. You don't owe any employer any loyalty, especially when they don't show you any. If they really cared about you, you'd be the director. They're just upset they created a new job title for the family member. My husband recently left in job after asking for a pay raise and being told they couldn't afford it. He felt bad since he's been there so long. Then he found out the owner just bought a brand new house and 2 new cars, yet a few dollars an hour more would supposedly break him. Husband didn't feel bad at all after that. When my ex and I were 20, I got pregnant. We were both ecstatic. However, once I gave birth, I had served PPD and psychosis. I stupidly refused medical treatment at the time. I also got involved in a rough crowd. We went to court and I lost custody of my daughter. It gave me the wake-up call I needed, and with my parents' help, I got into rehab and counseling. I'm aware of how much I have screwed up and what a crap parent I have been. I didn't bother to keep in touch with my ex due to my shame, and I didn't feel worthy. He did try and reach out to me, but I ignored everything. However, about 6 months ago, he reached out to my parents and asked if I could maybe be talked into seeing my daughter, who is now 6. My parents convinced me that it would be good for everyone and my therapist agreed, but to take it slow. My ex's got strict rules though. I'm not allowed to take our daughter out of the house alone, and he or his wife have to be present while I am over. I'm starting to get annoyed because every time his wife is in the house while I'm over, my daughter is interested in her. She calls her mama, which hurts so much. I'm her mother. She knows this, but my daughter still seems to act like my ex's wife is mom, and I'm just my name. I have been invited to visit for Halloween. My ex is working part of the day, and his wife will be home. I asked him if his wife could be somewhere else cause I was tired of our daughter only wanting her when she is around. I wanted us to really have time as mother and daughter. My ex said no immediately. That wasn't the agreement and he didn't feel comfortable yet to let our daughter be alone with me. I told him he was being cruel and unfair. This was my daughter too, and I have a right to do what I want with her. He told me that it wasn't how this worked, and we had barely scratched the surface of a relationship yet. I needed to be patient, and if I didn't like it, I was more than welcome to abandon her again or take it to court. He made the decisions when it comes to our daughter as of now, not me. Am I the idiot for being upset and seriously considering taking him to court over this? You're the idiot. 1. You refused medical treatment and abandoned your daughter. 2. You never reached out after him making multiple attempts to allow you into her life again. 3. 6 years. It's been 6 years and you've never been in her life. 4. You legally have no right to see her and he's doing you a favor trying to help foster a relationship. 5. Most importantly, he's worried for his daughter's safety and well-being. You showed last time you couldn't be trusted with her, and you need to establish that trust before you ask to be left alone. Your previous actions and behavior gives him concerns for good reasons. You abandoned her for 6 years and refused to get back in contact while your ex's wife actually treated her like her daughter. It's unfair to call yourself her mother, and you can't be upset that your daughter has another mother figure after you've been gone so long. You seem to be really angry that she doesn't call you mom, despite the fact that you've never acted like a mom to her. Considering the fact that you didn't want to talk to her until the father pushed, and the fact that you refused treatment for a very long time, it's obvious why they want to go slow. You're the idiot. You're 150% wrong. You do not have a right to do what you want with your daughter. You gave up that right when you abandoned her. Clearly, as a result of your horrible behavior, you are her mother, but you aren't her mom. You don't get to be angry that your daughter calls her stepmom mama when you haven't been in her life for years. That situation is 100% your fault, and you need to get over yourself. If you want things to be different, then you need to go to court. At least then maybe you can get to see your daughter with a court-appointed third party. Otherwise, you have zero right to make any demands.